Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here on this Saturday. Saturday, the 8th of August, 2020. Welcome to the show. Now, listen, the silver market is very, very close to breaking right now. And why I say it's close to breaking is because physical supply available for sale. Now, everybody knows there's a lot of silver out there. An awful lot of people, stackers and buying silvers, different places there's silver supply stored up, like J.P. Morgan alone. He's got a rather large warehouse full of silver. But that silver's not available for sale. The real thing is the silver that's available for sale. And when you buy silver, an awful lot of times, only a matter of weeks or months before that silver was actually in the ground. And they're selling the silver. The silver that's available for sale is the silver that comes from mining supply. Let's get the charts open right here and take a look at what's going on with this. This is from the CME group, and it says silver volume of silver being sold on a daily basis, but it's not real silver. This silver that you're seeing here, that's the volume of the futures contracts, is silver that is just basically a piece of paper that says you own 5,000 ounces of silver for each one of these contracts. So each one of these particular contracts represents 5,000 ounces of silver. And they're trading these contracts on the futures market. Here's the thing, guys. Train's going by. It's kind of noisy. Here's the thing, guys. If you look at this chart, you'll see going back to July, early in July 2nd, you can see the volume was only like 53,000 of these contracts, representing 5,000 ounces in each contract, right? And that's a lot. That's probably equal to almost most of the mining supply for a whole year traded daily. And here's the thing. Can you see it going up? It started to go up right here around July 20th. And we started to get these massive tradings in the futures contracts. And they're creating more and more of these paper futures contracts that they trade. But it's supposed to represent the underlying asset, which is silver. But it can't, because the futures contracts are so much more than the real physical available for sale. Take a look at this last one. This last one's what's got me, and it's why I did this show, to show you this, on August 7th. Let me hone in on this so you can see it a little bit better. My chart, August 7th, which is Friday, just like yesterday, they traded on the futures contracts 328,000 futures contracts, almost 329,000 futures contracts in one day. And each one of those futures contracts supposed to represent 5,000 ounces of silver. Well, I simply did the math on my calculator, and this is what I got. This is the number I got. 1,640,000,000 ounces of silver in one day's trading. With the amount the mines are producing right now, that's over 3 years of mining production in one day. This is just absolutely ridiculous. They're trading over 3 years, about 3.5 years of mining production. They're trading in one day on the futures contracts. Of course, they can't take delivery of any of this silver, because the actual amount of silver that's available for sale into the marketplace is a very minuscule number. And why I say it's a minuscule number is just take a look at all these companies that are still selling silver. Like, you can still go like to Atmex and maybe buy an ounce of silver. But try to buy 10,000 ounces and see what happens to you. So what's that called? Like, if you were in a family, and you sat around the table, and there's a bunch of boys sitting around the table, and Mama comes out with the soup pot, and she gives each one a little ladle full of soup, And the big boy there, he says, "I want 4 ladlefuls." She says, "No, you can't have it." I haven't got enough soup to go around. That's called rationing. Now, here's the thing. If you went out right now and tried to buy 10,000 ounces of silver, you wouldn't get it, but you might be able to buy 1 ounce. Why can you buy 1 ounce or maybe 10 ounces or may even be able to buy a 30 kilogram size bar or whatever, a small amount? You can go out and still buy a small amount. But why, if you were a big guy that had a lot of money and you wanted to buy a big lump of silver, you can't do it right now? You know, you're just like the kid sitting around the table. He wants a big bunch of soup and he can't have it because she's rationing it. That's what they're doing right now. Can't you see it? The real physical silver that they have available for sale out there right now, they're trying to keep these markets going by giving some supply to these companies like Atmex and Kitco and all these different companies, places, Gold and Silver Bull or whatever. So they're giving them a little bit. Each one of these companies are giving them a little bit. They're rationing it to them. And then they're rationing it out to you. You just can't come along now and buy $1 million worth of silver and take delivery anymore. Where you could 6 months ago or 8 months ago, you probably could. Not anymore. It's drying up, and it's drying up fast. And all these paper short contracts, what's going to happen to all of them when they finally actually run out of the physical supply? These 328,000 paper short contracts in one day. What's going to happen to all those paper short contracts? Well, they can't cover it. They can't cover it. They're going to have to settle in dollars. It's as simple as that. So, watching this very carefully, I was watching Bix Weir here, and he was talking about the same thing this morning. You know, this just happened yesterday, and today's Saturday, and Bix has already got it on the air, you know, and honest to goodness, this whole marketplace is just getting ready to explode. And this is why it affects cryptocurrencies is. And I've explained this to you guys before, that when the real flood comes in, the gold and silver, gold's going to disappear too. You're not going to be able to buy any of it. And this is, of course, the price will shoot to the moon. That's obvious. Once something's gone, nobody can buy it and everybody wants it, the price is going to shoot to the moon. But still, how can you actually invest in the actual physical product if you can't obtain it? In other words, if a buyer really wants physical, he's not going to settle for a paper short contract. He wants the real thing, you know? And how on earth are you gonna buy real physical silver if there's none available? So how's the money going to get invested in it? In other words, if a buyer really wants the real physical silver or real physical gold and he can't obtain any, no matter what the price is, he still hasn't spent his money because he can't get any. He's going to be maybe desperate to get out of the dollar at that point because the dollar might be sinking fast. This could all really happen fast is what I'm saying to you guys. It could be a sudden sort of thing. I know I've been thinking about it taking quite a while for it to happen, but sometimes when something is ready to happen, you know, kind of like that explosion in Beirut, you know, over there. I seen one film of that, you know, and the guy was in his car driving away, and it was burning in the background. You could see it burning. He knew to get away. He was driving his car down the freeway about as fast as he could go, you know, in the opposite direction. And all of a sudden, the blast blew. Boom. And it blew his car right off the side of the road and wrecked his car. Evidently, I think he lived through it, but everything, and he had his film. He showed his film, but it's really dramatic footage, you know. But that's the way with the markets and everything. We're expecting some sort of a slow thing where Bitcoin slowly rises up to $1 million. Well, at a certain point, once consensus is agreed upon by all the traders out there that the dollar's going down, and they all start to rush into these non-dollar denominated assets, it could happen all at once confidence is lost. And this is something that I didn't really think about until just recently. I've started to think about this. That confidence could be lost all at once. And it could be a Mayday situation. See, the Fed, you know, They're in this game right now. They want inflation. And what's happening is the real economy is deflating right now. So the more they're trying to pump in to try to get inflation and ramp up inflation, the worse it's getting. This action's getting, What a complex world we live in. Listen, guys, the bottom line is these non-dollar denominated assets have something called there's no counterparty risk. So all of these assets that you're invested in the stock market, or if you're invested in mutual funds or money market accounts, or if you've got CDs or whatever you got, they all have counterparty risk. And if the system starts to fold up, everybody's going to be out for number one. They're all going to be trying to get their money out and get it into something real. And that's when counterparty risk comes into play. Because there's an old saying, you don't actually own it if you don't hold it. If you're not holding it in your possession. In cryptocurrency, you can hold it in your possession if it's off the exchange and it's in your wallet. Same way with gold and silver. You can hold it in your possession. You don't own something. This world has always been this way. All the way through history it's been this way. A person that's holding something in their hand, it belongs to them. And they say possession is 9 points of the law. That's the old saying, possession is 9 points of the law. And so in your possession, everything that a lot of these people, they say, well, I'm rich, I got a portfolio, well, let's see your portfolio. They open it up and it's a whole bunch of papers. Might not even be papers. It might just all be online. What is that anyway? It's just a bunch of digits on a computer screen. How does it represent real wealth? I think that we could actually end up going back to the old times, where the fact that you don't own it unless you actually hold it. The internet switches off, and all that paper wealth you think you have, those businesses suddenly are out of business or are holding your wealth. The banks are out of business. Where is your wealth then? Show me what you got. You got nothing. Whereas the neighbor next door, he might have went out and bought himself just $100 worth of silver. And he might still have that and holding it in his hand. He's got something. You don't. You might have had $10 million invested, and he only invested $100. But he's holding that silver right in his hand. To say he has 3 or 4 silver eagles. He's got that. He owns that. That's his. It's in his hand. But you might have had millions. But now the internet's turned off. All these businesses are closing up, and everything's melting down. And now you got nothing. At least he's got something. Anyway, I'm rattling on a little bit, but this is the size of what we're coming to, what we're moving toward. We're moving toward a meltdown. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.